Hello and welcome to episode 62 of the Footy with Fletch podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by Harry Charleson. Harry was selected by Carlton with pick 9 in the 2024 AFL Rookie Draft. Hello, Harry. Thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
No worries. Thanks, Fletch. No, going well. Going well, thank you.
Now, we've got a bit of a funny story because I met you the day after the rookie draft in Creswick. How have you sort of found settling in since that day?
Yeah, no, that was a good day actually. But yeah, nah, bloody loved every second of it to be honest. Like everything's kind of going pretty well, and all the boys have been really good. And it was a bit nerve wracking them first few weeks, but now that I've found my feet a little bit, I'm loving it. So it's good.
And you grew up in Ballarat. What was it like to grow up there?
No, I loved it. All the boys think I'm a bit of a country fella. I'm not actually not that much of a country boy, but absolutely loved every second of it. It was like good down there, bit different to the city, but yeah, had all my mates and family was good. Lived out bit out of town, so I had a bit of land as well to run around in. It was nice. Loved it.
What's it sort of been like as well, adjusting from Ballarat to living in Melbourne?
Yeah, a fair bit's changed. Like a lot, it's a lot more busy and stuff, and driving on the roads is a bit different as well. But nah, everything about it's I've kind of got used to now. But yeah, it's a lot different about Ballarat for sure.
And you played with the Greater Western Victorian Rebels in the Coates Talent League in 2023 and 2024. How did joining the Rebels sort of come about for you?
Yeah, so like obviously the Coates is kind of regions, and Ballarat's a part of that region, and Rebels push out to nearly the border, SA border, Warrnambool out that way, Horsham. So you kind of get you kind of get designated there, and yeah, ever since loved it. So that's how I kind of got there.
And in 2023, you played 13 games for the Rebels, averaging over 15 disposals and 2 tackles per game. What did you make of your first season?
Yeah, well, obviously, I just started playing backline that year, so that was my first year down in defence. So a lot of learnings, just learning off the older fellas like Lamont Lowell, who is now at Essendon, and just learning like finding my feet down there and getting used to that. Obviously, they had the same role in 2024, so yeah, a lot of learnings. It was a good season.
And then in 2024, you played 16 games, averaging over 21 disposals, 3.1 marks, and then over 2 tackles as well. What did you make of your draft year?
Yeah, nah. Obviously, love just tried taking it week by week each game, and obviously the goal was to make the country at the start of the year, which I ticked off, and that was a big like step in my footy journey. So everything 2024 was just obviously just learning that new like higher kind of defensive role, and like obviously having a bit of a captaincy role there as well, like a bit of leadership as well, learning that as well, which was real good. So nah, love to see it.
And you also co-captained the side. What was that like for you?
No, it was good. It was definitely a good thing to have. Like, obviously, I had a few luck boys. There was about 5 of us, I think, in that leadership role. So it was good to have them beside me as well and learn off them. But yeah, no, I definitely loved it.
And you were also the Rebels joint best and fairest winner last year. What did that mean to you?
No, obviously, it meant a fair bit. Obviously, making the grand final that year and having a pretty good side. So that was definitely a big achievement. And nah, happy with that. So yeah.
And you also led the side to their first grand final appearance in 27 years. What was that like for you and for the side?
Yeah, well, it was actually a bit of a roller coaster. Like, no one really expected it because we had a pretty rocky start to the season. Didn't win many games, but came strong in that last half of the season. So all the boys kind of gelled together and we found our feet, and then started playing for each other. So it was really good. And then making that grand final was a big thing for all involved, all coaches as well. So obviously didn't get the job done in the end, but yeah, we did really well to get there, and the boys were happy with it. So it was a big thing.
And you also mentioned Vic Country a little earlier. You played 4 matches for them. What was that like for you? And what were the big learnings that you took away from that experience?
Yeah, obviously being with the best kind of, I think it was got about 30 players in big country. You learn off all the best from each coach talent league in the country, and like making like friends with them as well was pretty cool. Like obviously I got lifelong friends from there now as well. But yeah, the Vic Country experience was definitely good. Like playing in that bit better like quality footy obviously helped with my footy as well. And yeah, no, I loved every second of it. Great bunch of boys.
And you had a cracking first game as well. You had 23 disposals, going at 91% efficiency with 5 intercepts and also 4 score involvements. What did you make of that first game?
Yeah, oh well, I actually had a pretty slow start to that game. I would have only had a few touches in the first quarter, but I thought I defended really well, and that was kind of my main role. So obviously defending off that comes attack, and then yeah, finding my feet through the defense kind of led to a few more touches, I guess, and score involvement. So yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
And then after missing out on selection in the national draft, what emotions were you sort of experiencing heading into the rookie draft?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. So I sat down in the obviously night two. I sat down and watched it pretty closely because I was a chance that night. But yeah, it was a pretty long night in the end there, and kind of got to night time, and the last pick got read out, and I didn't really know what to think, to be honest. So kind of just yeah, it was a bit of a blur now. But yeah, the day of the rookie draft, I wasn't thinking too much of it. Like my manager said, I was a chance with Carlton and a few other clubs, I think, and then and kind of just me and Dad went for a hit of golf, just tried to not think about it. Like I wasn't even going to watch it, and then yeah, my name got read out, and it was all yeah, it was all pretty surreal in the end. There, it was the best feeling ever.
And what was sort of, I guess, the days after realizing that you were going to be an AFL footballer? What was that sort of like, and how did it all sort of sink in for you?
Yeah, to be honest, it never really clicked, and like it still kind of hasn't clicked, to be honest. But yeah, that first day, them days leading up, were obviously like I didn't know what to think, and then when I got to the club on that first day and kind of went on a tour and stuff, I was just like, "Jeepers, like this is real now," and everything's kind of coming together. And then yeah, met the boys, and it was just yeah, every kind of day is a new day, and you just think, "Geez, this is real," and like yeah, you keep pinching yourself, but I absolutely love it. So couldn't be happier.
Has there been a particular play that you've learnt a lot from so far at the club?
Yeah, I'd probably have to say Sardi, like definitely playing that higher defensive role when I'm there. He's been real good. Like obviously he's a gun, like he's played that role for a few years now, and yeah, just learning off him and leaning on him is pretty good, and he's always got uh good feedback for you, I guess. So he's been really good.
And how have you found your first pre-season? How hard has it sort of been?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's nothing. You're just never ready for it, I guess. Like coming into the club, and obviously us first years is still modified, so we don't do the whole session. We're kind of building up to it now, but yeah, it's another world really. Like you're just never prepared, but it's just give it your best, and that's all you can really do. So it's fun, loving it.
What do you think's been the most difficult part of pre-season so far?
Oh, there was his last day in Mooloolaba. We went on a camp in Mooloolaba, and I think it was like a 15K plus session up in the heat up there, and it was pretty wet as well. So that was definitely one of the biggest. And we finished with 300s, and yeah, everyone was kind of just on all floors at the end. So that was definitely the toughest. But once it was over, it was a good feeling. So
And how do you sort of look to approach the remainder of pre-season?
obviously, like I said before, just leaning on like the defenders like Sardi and Weeders and all that, like the leaders back there, and just keep learning like my role and getting better at, and just yeah, playing what our method is.
And you have the nickname Gary around the club. How did that sort of come about for you, Harry?
Yeah, we're in a team meeting. This is early days, and we're talking about just the draftees and Hainesy. Um, just we're watching like clips, and then Mitch McGovern calls out like Gary, and then all the boys are like, "Oh, Gary, Gary," and then I didn't think it'd stick, and then now it's kind of come along. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, but it's good.
And Matthew Cottrell has also referred to you as the energy giver around the club. What does that sort of mean, and how do you find that?
Oh, I don't. It kind of just came. Well, like I think I got a pretty bubbly personality, so that's probably one of it. But I don't know if you've heard, but I kind of get up every birthday. I get up and like get the boys up and about, like dance and stuff, and sing happy birthday to everyone in front of the group. So that's probably part of it as well. But yeah, Cots has definitely helped heaps living with him as well. So he's been good.
And what do you think's been the best piece of advice that you've received so far from a coach or from a teammate at the Blues?
Yeah, probably at the moment, just taking everything day by day, like not looking too much into the future, just honing in on what you want to get good at, like the craft and stuff, and just taking it all in, I guess, enjoying it. So it's pretty simple, but that's how you do it. So,
And what's it sort of been like to be coached by Michael Voss as well, a legend of AFL footy?
oh, it's unreal. It's pretty cool. Like he definitely gets into it, and he's like one of the best coaches I've ever had so far, and I've only had him for a few months, so he's very good and really keen to crack into the season, I think.
And what goals do you have for 2025 with your footy?
Obviously just learning, like I'm kind of playing a mid high tier kind of back, so just getting good at my role and like progressing every week, I guess, and like honing in on the craft, like I said before, and just having a decent season, hopefully injury free as well to play a game, but that comes with just progress. So yeah.
And I guess as well, do you have any areas of your game that you think are really a strengths for you that you do well in? And if so, what are those areas?
Oh yeah, I'd like to say me kicking, like that's probably one of me strengths, I guess. Like just kicking and the run off the halfback is probably comes with that as well. So that's probably my biggest one, 100%.
And do you have any, I guess, areas of your game that you want to look to improve in ahead of the upcoming season?
Yeah, well, obviously this year we've got a pretty big defend first like kind of vibe. So obviously my tackling comes like with that and my tackle pressure. So that was probably something I really want to get good at.
And what does a day in the life around the club look like for you, obviously, during pre-season? It might be a little bit different given that the club are also training away from Princess Park at the moment.
Yeah, well, we get out of Latrobe, Bandura, so we're out there at the moment. So from where I'm living, it's about a half an hour drive in the morning. So we all get there about 7. So you wake up, I guess 6ish. We'll leave at 6:30 and then get there at 7, and then you got your training prep for about an hour, and then you do your team meeting, and then you're out on the track for about 2.5 to 3 hours. So it's a pretty big session, a lot different than like last year, but it's good. And then yeah, obviously we've got to travel back to the club at the moment, and then we go into a rotation. We've got 3 blocks, so it's like either you got gym, you got like teaching with your backline group or Carlton Way or something like that. So that brings you to about, I guess, 4 o'clock, and then team recovery at the end of the day, which Rob, our high performance, likes to do that together. And then yeah, head home after that, and then get food up here, and then sleep. At the moment, it's pretty just eat, sleep, repeat, but it's good.
How do you sort of find it trying to switch off from footy? Because obviously you don't want to think about it 24/7. Do you find that difficult as well?
No, not really. Like obviously living with a few of the boys as well. I'm in with Ash Moore, Billy Wilson, and the 2 Camperales, so they're real good. And then like once we get home, we kind of just have a laugh and just enjoy each other's company. Try not to talk about footy enough, not much. So that's probably helps a fair bit, and it's pretty easy with them, so it's good.
And out of the boys you're currently living with, who do you think would be the better cook and why?
Geez, the Campos fancy themselves, I reckon. They are pretty good to be honest. But yeah, I'd have to say them. They've cooked up some nice feeds the last couple of nights, so I'll give it to them.
Do you have sort of a signature dish that you'd go to if the coach or a couple of teammates came over for dinner?
Yeah, I'd probably go the chicken pasta. I used to have that every night before, but mum or dad would make it. They'd make it better than me, but I'd do the creamy chicken pasta. I don't reckon you can go wrong with that. So I'll take that.
It sounds very, very yum indeed. And just finally as well, are there any players that you sort of model your game on? And if so, what sort of drew you to those players?
Yeah, obviously at the start I had a Jack Sinclair kind of like when he was down back. I really liked how he went about it, and he was pretty hard at it as well. So he was a big defender, I thought, and I like that as well. But obviously from Carlton, I'm leaning like on Sardi a bit with his run, but then Lockie Cowan's a very good defender as well. I like how he goes about it. So watching him pretty closely as well.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Harry, and all the best of luck with the remainder of pre-season.
Thanks, Fletch. Appreciate it.
Thank you to Harry Charleson from the Carlton Football Club for joining me in episode 62 of the Footy with Fletch podcast. It was a very enjoyable interview, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Stay tuned for more Footy with Fletch podcast interviews, and you can go and give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook